You may not realize this, but we actually have a pretty crucial week ahead in crypto. Why I'm saying that is we actually have some shorter term things on the charts playing out that are actually bullish and very exciting. And then we have some things on the longer term trends that are actually a little bit bearish. It's a question of which of these two is going to win. Are these two going to work together to bring us to this big breakout? We're actually very similar to what we did in late 2020, which we'll discuss that as well. And I do want to actually talk about a few fundamental things that we need to pay attention to here as well. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I'm going to use ADA as the initial example for this, but I will say regardless of what chart you're looking at, whether it's ADA, SHIB, XRP, BTC, Ethereum, it doesn't matter. We're all doing the exact same thing. We all had a brutal week. This brought us to this range where Stochastic RSI, which I talk about a lot here on the channel, actually dropped all the way down to this flat line, basically a 0-0. And what we've seen now, especially getting into today, has been a bullish flip. That's an exciting thing. That typically leads us to some exciting extensions. Just take a look back here in June. This is what kicked off this big rally that we just went on. A little bit of a rally that took place in the start of June here as well. Oversold flip, and then May, nice rally there for ADA too. And this can be tracked many times throughout history. Again, whether you look at ADA, any of these assets, right? Now, here's where the problem lies. Because this week was so ugly, and because we've had 2 straight red weeks, what we are starting to see now is actually a bearish cross on the weekly Stochastic RSI. Now, for those that aren't familiar, when we do tend to get these bearish crosses taking place, you tend to have some correction. You tend to have some drops. For example, the last time we had this significant of a flip in terms of Stochastic RSI on the weekly, it was, lo and behold, first week of December, right? Not really surprising. We obviously had these months and months and months of retracement. Now, am I saying that's going to happen? No, I'm not saying that at all. We have to remember the context of those months, right? Tariffs, quantum computing concerns, economic uncertainty, black swan events, right? Things were so terrible in the crypto market that it was hard for us to muster up any sense of positivity. This isn't those times, okay? In fact, we have had times before where it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a correction, a little bit of a retracement, right? Here, for example, back in February of 2023, where it looked like we were just going to drop and the bottom was going to fall out, but then without us even making much in terms of movement here, we actually flipped bullish once again on the weekly, extended. We actually set a slightly higher high. All right. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure either. And again, you guys can look at this in terms of XRP, bullish flip on the daily, weekly, bearish cross, BTC, bullish flip on the daily, weekly, bearish cross, right? So this is really anything in the crypto market right now. Even if you look at the total assets outside of BTC and Ethereum, bullish cross on the daily, bearish cross on the weekly. So now it's a question of, which of these is going to take over and take us to our next zip code, right? Now, are we going to go lower? Are we going to go higher? Now, what I will say here is we've talked a lot about late 2020 and how this market cycle is moving more similarly to the 2016, 2017 cycle, but a lot more similar to late 2020, November, December, right? And coincidentally enough, we were doing something very similar at that time. Just taking a look at ADA, for example, we were just on this period of extension where things were getting exciting. We were getting ready for this next rally. And what we saw during that time was actually this, us enter this overbought range on the weekly Stochastic RSI, flipped bearish, looked like we were going to move down. And what did that actually end up leading to? Slight retracement and then next major leg, right? So it's tough right now to gauge what direction we're actually headed. I've still been convinced right now that we're in a huge bear trap. It's not surprising at all. You keep seeing all this short leverage fill in. And we're still sitting at basically record highs in terms of open interest. Now, I will say there is some bullish confidence that's filling in the crypto market. We can see, for example, Ollie Charts posted 60.25% of traders on Binance Futures with open BTC positions are currently leaning bullish, which is a pretty interesting makeup there. I will say we look across the crypto market, most assets right now, they actually do have more short leverage against them than they do long. So you can go from exchange to exchange and you'll see it be different all over the place, right? But some promising signs for the crypto market are optics remain high, capital inflows to exchanges remain high. So you see people actively buying the dip, which is a good sign. You want to see people defending price. Looks like right now conviction is high. We did have some minor selling take place in terms of BTC, so that could be obviously contributing to a little bit of our retracement that we've seen. And I wanted to point out as well that, guys, we did in fact close that CME gap, right? So that's all great stuff. And frankly, we're in a good spot to where this could be a big rebound week ahead. I think a big part of it is, are we going to see institutional money once again get back on board with the trends that they've been doing, right? Last week was shit. just call it what it was, right? It was bad for alts, but it really sucked in terms of institutional money. For example, on the BTC side, this last week was a huge institutional outflow week. It's the largest institutional outflow week we've seen since all the way back in April. Okay. So that was a pretty big difference. Even on the Ethereum side, which Ethereum, they have been buying like crazy, just absolutely crushing it. This week sucked for Ethereum. Okay. This was actually the smallest week for ETH accumulation by institutional players that we have seen since all the way back in June. And it's the second smallest week since the start of May. All right. So the question is now, do these big players have enough confidence to start buying once again, to finally kick this sentiment that we've been dealing with and start to get back on the bullish side? That's the questions, right? So what we need to see getting into this week is some stability. What people need to know is that you can actually go sideways on these trends and still see this thing correct down, right? You could chop around all day here. You could see actually, for example, assets go on a little bit of a pump, us rally back up here towards the top of this trend, get a little bit of a correction once again. I mean, we could be all over the board over the course of this week. And I think that we're going to see some significant volume. I believe we're going to see a lot of long and short leverage liquidations as the week progresses. It's going to be a lot of the market just trying to decide where it wants to head to. Some people are still calling for really low prices, and maybe we get it, maybe we don't. Historically speaking, this is the part of the cycle that catches a lot of people, and it's a question of, are people going to get caught? All right, are people playing games? Are people thinking that we're just going to keep dropping, and then do they get left behind and stuck chasing and FOMOing into the market? That's kind of where we're at. So these are a couple things to definitely watch as the week progresses. We'll see obviously if BTC dominance can hold where it's at right now. It's been doing a very good job here of rejecting that 200-day moving average, like I've talked about in a couple of videos today. That did get a bearish cross, so maybe we'll get some correction there. Maybe you'll see altcoins gain a little confidence, but that's kind of where we're at, guys. So just wanted to share that with you. Appreciate you as always. Let's see where the week heads. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is going to be an ugly week once again? Do you think we start to turn the tides just a little bit? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.